Welcome to the Watching Books podcast, the podcast where we discuss books that have only been adapted to both stage and screen production. I'm Victoria.
I'm Laura.
Hi, Mom.
Hey, how was your day?
Ask me another day.
Okay,
How was yours?
doing well.
I have a baby with diarrhea and as a result a very sore bum. And so I think he also has an upset tummy and he's teething. So there's just a
Yeah.
lot going on there with my poor sweet little baby. He just wanted mommy today, so I couldn't get a lot done.
Yeah, poor
Luckily my
thing.
2-year-old is pretty self-sufficient.
Yeah.
My husband and my oldest son were gone because our oldest had baseball practice, and I really needed a shower. And I looked at my daughter, my 2.5-year-old daughter, and I went, "Hey, okay, mommy's gonna go take a shower. You just keep an eye on your brother." And I heard the words come out of my mouth, and I knew, like, full confidence. I was like, "And she can."
Yeah.
She can handle it. She can keep him happy. She can give him snacks. She's very good at comforting him. And if all else fails, she knows where to find me. So I was like, yeah, she's good.
And you can make the shower very quick and be right out.
It was a very fast shower, yes. And she did come and get me. She opened the door and she was like, "Mommy, why are you still in here?" And I said, "I'm sorry, I haven't even washed my hair yet."
Oh my word.
So they were
Crazy
fine.
girl.
She managed to turn on Hotel Transylvania. She's wild and great.
Good for her. What are you drinking? Coffee?
Coffee at 9:30 at night.
I would never be able to do that.
It'll be fine. It's decaf. I'm just drinking it because I love coffee so much.
Okay,
Yeah, but I have my water too, of course.
absolutely. Yeah.
Did you get your gnomes done for your quilt?
I did. I should have brought one downstairs to show you. But
You
yes,
should
I
have.
did. Yeah. I mailed them off and I mailed the 11 off because I did a swap. And then I have my one. Yeah.
So,
They're
what are
so
you watching?
Let's
Anything fun?
see. So my husband was deployed.
Yes, there's major news. Major news. Oh my goodness. I can't believe I didn't even lead with that. You have major news.
He surprised me Friday and came home 3 weeks early.
Dad's home.
Oh my goodness. Fabulous. Yes.
Yay.
Huge news.
And I kept the secret. I'm so bad at keeping surprises.
I cannot believe you kept it. I was wow. When he told me you
Did
knew, I
it.
was like, you did it. You were proud of yourself. So yes, that has
wasn't
been
gonna ruin
great.
it.
So watching, I haven't really watched anything. I have pulled up. I found something I want to watch for the next podcast that we are filming. I don't want to say what that is yet. And so I found that, but other than that, we really haven't been watching a whole lot. So what about you?
Honestly, in our house, it's been a lot of Hotel Transylvania, which is fitting because of a very near podcast episode we'll be doing. But there were okay. Ray and I finished the first season of Sleepy Hollow. Still watching it.
There's
And
more
we're
than one
really
season.
enjoying it. Yeah, there's like 4 seasons. Yeah.
Wow. I had no idea.
And John Noble, who plays Denethor in Lord of the Rings, is a major character in this show. I love seeing him. He elevates the whole thing. Anytime he comes on screen, I'm like, okay, this is going to be a good part. Because he is so good. And it's fun seeing him in a part where he's wearing jeans. So we're enjoying that. But also, Mom, did you see they dropped the final trailer for Wicked Part 2?
Yes. And the trailer alone made me tear up.
I'm so excited. I can't wait. Are we going to be in theaters watching it?
I want to. Now that your dad is home, I think we're going to watch the first one tomorrow. Because he
Great.
has-
That's awesome. I hope he
Yes.
likes it. You'll have to let me know how long he stays awake.
Well, we love the stage show. So I think he'll like it. I think he's going to be impressed.
We can save it for the podcast because that's for a later episode. Wicked qualifies as one of our options to discuss.
Absolutely.
So, are you reading anything?
Yes, I am reading a fun book so far called Arsenic and Adobo by Mia Manansala. If I said that right. So
Okay.
Arsenic and Adobo, kind of fun. I am enjoying it. It's a murder mystery, so it's fun. Of course, I think the title sort of implies that.
Well, of course, it reminds me of Arsenic and Old Lace, but I'm sure it's very different.
Very different. Very, very different. But I'm enjoying it. Are
Well,
you reading?
no, nothing new, of course. In my normal life, prior to all the insanity, this book would have taken me, I mean, at the most a week, and that's generous. This has taken me a stinking month to read Carrie. This is one of the easiest books I've ever read. And it has taken me forever simply just because I don't have time. But I will say, so my oldest, he's 12. He and I have been reading the Harry Potter series for a few years now. Just starting with the very first book, I've read the whole thing aloud, and we are on the Deathly Hallows, the final book, and we are down to the last three chapters.
Oh, wow. Yay.
Yeah. For anyone who may not have actually read or seen the movies, that's not something I'm really interested in spoiling for you, but I will say it is very hard for me to put the book down when we get through a chapter at this point because everything is happening. But in the interest of him getting sleep and being able to function the next day, we do put the book down. And now we just have three more chapters to go.
Wow. That is saying.
Yeah. It has
So,
taken a long time.
we will be moving there at the end of the year. And when we
I'm
move there,
so glad.
when we move there, I could do a Harry Potter movie thon with you guys and cook the same fabulous foods that I did when my sister and I did it.
That would be great. And I have a whole Harry Potter cookbook, so I would want to contribute as well.
You do.
I do. And
Yes.
Eli and I made pumpkin pasties one time when we watched one of the movies together. That was fun. So yeah,
Those
I
are
would love
very
to
good.
contribute.
I've always called them pumpkin pasties. Are they pasties?
I literally got the pronunciation from watching Cho Chang in the movie. I think she goes like, two pumpkin pasties, please. So that's how I say it.
Yeah, I say pumpkin pasties. But I don't know. But I made those as well, and they were good. But I also made pumpkin juice.
That sounds good.
It was excellent. Excellent.
Nice. We made butterbeer.
I did too, of course. You have to have beer. So definitely we'll
Yeah.
have to do that.
I
That
would
was
love to
fun.
do that.
Yes.
Not that you'll care very much, but you see my girl Taylor back here. She announced she's releasing a new album and she is going to have another event in local theaters where you get to go early before the album is released and actually watch all the lyric videos for her new album in theaters, along with, I think, some behind the scenes footage, maybe. I
Wow.
might be making that up, but also like one of her new music videos.
Wow.
So I've already sent the info to my husband because it's coming out next month. It's my birthday month. Hello.
Okay. Wow.
So I was like, that's what I want.
Well, I know what I wouldn't mind watching in December, going to the theater, possible. The Housemaid.
Yes. Did you watch the trailer?
No, I have not seen the trailer.
Oh, okay. Do you know who plays Nina, the wife?
No. Wait. I think I saw a smidge of a trailer accidentally. I did see it. Who is it?
Amanda Seyfried.
Yes, I did see that.
She's gonna be perfect. She's gonna be perfect.
Yes, I totally want to see that. I just
Yes.
think it will be amazing because that book, and I haven't even read the other two yet, but that book, they could do that on stage. They could so do that on stage.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I would watch this on stage for sure. And it would be so good. Okay, so to everyone out there listening or watching, just be aware that one, we are not deep divers. We are not doing a whole lot of research into the topics that we discuss. We're just talking like fans. So we are the friends who give you all the annoying facts that we happen to come across. They may or may not be 100% accurate. You can fact check us. That's fine. But we do our best. We are two people who absolutely love books, movies, and stage productions. We have theater running through our veins, and this is our happy place. And Mom and I have bonded over this for years. So please get on the couch with us. Join us in the comments section. Let us know what you love about the topics that we discuss. And before we dive into today's topic, just remember that it's an all around spoiler alert. We are not just going to be talking about this particular book slash movie. We are also going to be talking about other things that we're reminded of. And so just be aware that there are spoilers for everything. Just all around blanket spoiler alert. And with that, Mom, What book are we watching today?
We're watching the scary-ish book by Stephen King, his very first novel, Carrie.
Carrie. Why did you say scary-ish?
Well, it's not really, I don't find it scary, not like some of his horror books. I mean, some of his are, I
Hmm.
cannot read at night. This one I could read any time of the day. It's more, it's the mental, it's the telekinesis stuff, and it's the horrible mom stuff. So, I think it's more disturbing than it is scary. And I read it in high school, and it didn't stick with me. And so it was fun to read it again now and go, yeah. And then, of course, I hadn't seen the movie since I was a little girl, and it must have come on TV because there were parts of it I remembered.
Gosh, as a little girl.
Yes. Do you want to tell what the book is about?
Yeah, sure. This time, for this summary, I went to ChatGPT to help me out because my
Makes it
summaries
nice.
get derailed very quickly. This is just to summarize the 1974 novel by Stephen King. Carrie White is a shy, awkward high school girl tormented by classmates and controlled by her fanatically religious mother, Margaret. After a humiliating locker room incident when Carrie has her first period and the other girls mock her, one student, Sue Snell, feels guilty. To make amends, she convinces her boyfriend, Tommy Ross, to take Carrie to the prom. Meanwhile, Chris Hargensen, a vindictive classmate, plots revenge with her boyfriend, Billy Nolan. Their plan is to dump pig's blood on Carrie if she is crowned prom queen. So Tommy does succeed in getting Carrie to agree to go to the prom with him. And Sue decides to waive her night at the prom and stay home. At the prom, Carrie experiences kindness and acceptance for the first time. When she and Tommy are crowned king and queen, she is radiant with hope. But when the pig's blood pours down on her, that fragile hope shatters. In her mind, the entire school is laughing at her. Her telekinetic powers surge out of control. She traps everyone inside the gymnasium, brings down lights and electrical wires, and ignites a fire that consumes the building. Dozens are killed, including Tommy. But unlike most film versions, this is not where the destruction ends. The book takes Carrie far beyond the school. In shock and fury, she staggers into the town of Chamberlain, and her powers continue to erupt. She topples cars, tears down power lines, and sets fire after fire. By the time she finishes, much of the town is left in ruins and hundreds of people are dead. Carrie finally returns home, broken and covered in blood, where her mother is waiting. Margaret, convinced her daughter is a monster. I would say monster isn't the right word. She thinks her daughter's a witch. She stabs her. Dying, Carrie fights back one last time using her mind to stop her mother's heart. Margaret collapses dead, but Carrie is mortally wounded. Even then, she is not finished. As she staggers away from her home, which I must say, a small detail that I haven't seen in any adaptation, is that she staggers out of the home with the butcher's knife still in her shoulder. Chris and Billy, trying to flee town, nearly run her over with their car. With the last of her strength, Carrie uses her powers to crush the vehicle. Billy dies instantly in the crash, and Chris is killed gruesomely when her face collides with the dashboard. Only then, with her enemies destroyed, does Carrie finally collapse. Sue Snell, who has been searching for Carrie, finds her dying. The two share a final psychic connection. Carrie sees that Sue never intended her harm, and Sue feels the depth of Carrie's anguish. With that, Carrie dies in Sue's arms. In the aftermath, Chamberlain is devastated. Authorities scramble to explain the catastrophe, and Sue is left traumatized and isolated as the sole survivor who truly understands what happened. The novel ends with a letter from a woman in another town describing a baby girl who is already showing signs of telekinetic power, a chilling reminder that Carrie's tragedy may not be the last. What I will say about the way King writes the story is it's not linear storytelling. It does jump around in timeline and points of view. But I wouldn't say it was confusing. I think it was he did a really good job of keeping perspectives independent of each other. So you were never confused as to where we were or whose perspective we were getting. But we were also getting like police interviews, police reports, emergency reports, and then third person perspectives into individual characters. So like we would have Carrie's perspective, or we would have Margaret, her mother's perspective, or we'd have Tommy's perspective. Oh, and
And,
Sue in her survival went on to write her own story about it. She wrote a book about it, and so we get excerpts from Sue's book in the aftermath.
and this was Stephen King's first. Isn't that
Yeah, he's really
amazing?
good. He's a very good writer. I mean, which I've always known, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Now
amazing.
I want just going into the book a little bit. It is set in the town of Chamberlain, Maine. So that's where they are. And we see early on that there was a time when Carrie was 3 years old and she got
Oh, yes.
upset with her mom for whatever reason. Rocks fell onto their house and no one else's. They're like, what's going on? And so that's when Carrie was 3. And I did find it interesting that in the book, Carrie practices the telekinesis over and over and over. Just little things she would do trying to get things to move and to control with her mind.
And it's described as like a flex. Stephen King uses the word flex. It's to her, it's like flexing a muscle, and she works
And
it out, and it gets
yes,
stronger.
and it makes her tired. She gets tired.
Hmm.
So yes, she it does get stronger the more that she flexes. So for people who are on Carrie's side, we see that Sue ends up being on her side. She was a very sweet girl, and she had really good intentions in getting her boyfriend to ask her to the prom. The guy was really nice, and he was
Yeah,
very,
he's a nice guy.
very nice to Carrie. He is described as a straight A student, very, very smart. He wrote this beautiful poem that the teacher asked him to recite in class. And so he does. And Carrie actually says something, and she said, beautiful. So, of course, the guys were teasing him about that, but he didn't let that bother him. It's just like water on a duck's back. He didn't care. He was popular, and it didn't bother him. But there was also the coach, Miss
Miss
Desjardins.
Desjardins.
I liked her a lot, and she really stood up for Carrie as
I don't like
well.
her in the book.
I didn't find her that bad in the book.
I'll say it's because of her inner dialogue, I think. Like you can see her inner character, and I think she is really trying and wanting to be kind and charitable toward Carrie, but it's not genuine. So I don't know. That was just how I read it. That was how I interpreted it. And I don't think she's a bad person by any means, but I don't think she's as genuine as she comes across in some of the adaptations we saw.
Well, I liked Principal Grail.
Hmm.
He stood up for Carrie. Chris is the antagonist,
Yes.
and
Well,
she
one of
one of them. She was really a bully towards Carrie. And
them.
her
Yeah.
dad is a lawyer and came to see the principal. And the principal stood up for Carrie with this lawyer dad. And I really, really appreciated that. He handled that
Yeah.
lawyer
Well,
really
he
well.
let her dad know exactly what type of daughter he had
Hmm.
and how, like, Carrie wasn't the only person she tormented. She was just awful to people.
Bully. And then Billy was her
Hmm.
boyfriend. Oh my gosh, he was horrible in the book. Horrible. Horrible. Just a bad guy all around.
As I was reading it, I actually thought to myself, this is what happens when two psychopaths find each other.
Mm.
Like, I don't know for
Hmm.
sure if it looks like antisocial personality disorder, but really, really bad things happen when two psychopaths team up. It's very disturbing. They're both disturbed, they're both self focused, narcissistic. It's just not a good combination.
Oh, horrible. Let's talk about Margaret, Carrie's mother. So I looked at her. So I want to say how I feel, and then I want you to, as a therapist, because I have questions for you. So, Margaret, from what we can gather in the book, she is very religious and she makes Carrie do all of these prayers and will lock her in a closet where there's a picture of Jesus and she's supposed to pray to him, but she'll lock her in there for hours. No food, no water, no bathroom, nothing. And Near the end, we learn once Carrie gets her period, the mother says, "There you go, Adam and Eve were cursed, and Eve was cursed with blood. And so you're
Hmm.
sinful when you get your period." And it was psychotic. And what we learn later on, what it sounds like is she started withholding sex from her husband, and then he ends up raping her. Is that what it sounded like to you in the book?
Yes, I think in a very clinical sense, it was rape.
Yes, I think it was too, because she was
Hmm.
withholding, they got married,
But
and
I
of course,
also, I also, I can talk about that in a second.
well, it made me wonder and if it just affected her mentally in that way and it created this craziness. But what my question is for you is what happened to that mother in her past to make her this crazy person now, you know?
It's hard to say because we don't know that much about her.
Wouldn't that be an interesting story to look at? If someone wrote a story, this is Carrie's mom,
I
Margaret.
think it'd be thoroughly depressing. So we know her mother, Carrie's grandmother, Margaret's mother, also had telekinesis. So we know that from the book. Margaret was already a religious fanatic before she married Russell, Carrie's father. And the way she talks about it, it sounds like they were abstinent for like all except like twice,
And then she got pregnant.
which is how she got pregnant with, yeah, with Carrie. There was some ambiguity about how he died, and I wonder if she killed him. But also, I think the illness was there all prior to him raping her. And I do question that. I think it's plausible that he did force himself on her. Absolutely. And that's horrible. But at the same time, just with the way her character is, she does admit that she enjoyed the encounter, which in and of itself does not mean that it wasn't rape. But part of me wonders if her own guilty conscience, her own disgust with sex in general, wouldn't allow her to acknowledge that she willingly,
Right.
had sex with him. So I don't know. I think it's up for interpretation and how you read the character and what you think of her. So I honestly couldn't say one way or another. What happened to her? I don't know. A lot of her behaviors seem schizophrenic. It's like untreated schizophrenia. We know she has this religious fanaticism, which outside of being in a cult, we don't see individually like this unless there's an underlying mental disorder. It
Hmm.
just doesn't, this type of abuse and obsession, uh, I don't think is that pervasive without there being communal support around that and encouragement of those beliefs and behaviors. And the way she describes her relationship with Russell, it sounds like they both sort of followed these beliefs. And I think maybe she latched onto his beliefs and just took them a million times farther. Or it could have gone the other way. She might have already had these beliefs and when she met him and he just, they happened to be aligned in that way.
Well, poor Carrie, here she is, a senior in high school. Her mother never even told her about a period. She never knew what to expect. She's in the shower after gym and has blood running down her legs. It is devastating. So she thought she was dying and she was
Well,
panicking. And,
that's just it
and
about Margaret. She doesn't live in reality. She is
oh,
living in a completely psychotic world in which she truly believes that if she keeps Carrie cut off from everything and away from any type of sinful influence in her mind, then Carrie will be this perfect little pristine angel, like sinless little being that can't ever be touched by evil. Margaret's signs for evil are normal development,
yeah.
developing breasts, having a menstrual cycle, having attraction toward people,
What did she call breasts?
dirty
Dirty pillows?
pillows.
Dirty pillows.
Yeah, and that is a weird childlike way of thinking about the body. So yeah, I'd be really curious to know what happened to her in her upbringing, but it's a lot of her behaviors seem schizophrenic. She does definitely seem like she has some trauma, but what she needs pronto is an antipsychotic medication. Let's get her on some pills.
Yes, definitely. Let's see. I'm looking at my notes. I thought it was interesting. So, prom night in the book, prom night was called the main Holocaust.
Mhm.
It was bad. It was very bad.
Yeah, devastating.
Found it interesting when they were at the prom, Tommy had inexplicable thoughts in his mind when he would talk to Carrie. It was like her brain was connecting with his. And it was whenever he was with Carrie, but then there was also another man, a witness who was in jail, Mr. Quillen, and he had inexplicable thoughts of what Carrie was thinking when he saw her after she had left the prom as she was roaming around. And
Yeah, did one of the
so it's
mothers.
very
So
yes.
another
So it
another
was like
witness. She could tell, she
yeah.
knew. She couldn't tell you why, but she knew what Carrie was feeling and thinking.
Yes, and Sue
Uh-huh.
did that too. Sue did
Yes.
that as well.
So I actually
Sue
wrote
did
down, I was like, telekinetic and telepathic? She has
yeah,
telepathy too.
it's pretty interesting. Carrie's dress in the book is red, and
Hmm.
so that's interesting. One thing I did not like, and this was the book and the movie, there was a lot of slapping. People slapped
Oh,
faces.
I have a note. Yes.
Like,
Hold
what
on.
is going on with all the facial slaps?
Where is my note? Hold on, I put a note and it says the amount of adults slapping children in this book is staggering.
Yes, it was so shocking.
It was so many different people, but it's always children getting smacked in the face.
Yes.
I didn't know it was that common back in the 70s.
That would be so inappropriate today. I mean, golly, all the
I
slapping.
mean, there's police officers smacking kids, there's teachers smacking kids.
Parents slapping kids, and then Billy slapping Chris. I mean, there was a lot of slapping. It was
A
shocking
lot.
the amount of
Yeah.
slapping. I
Yeah.
don't think I've ever
I thought the
read
same thing. I was through the majority of the book and it happened again and I was like, "Come on. What is going on?"
so much
Yeah.
slapping. Okay, so they're at the prom, and I thought this was interesting in the book because I watched the movie first with you, and then I read the book. And so what stood out was Carrie doesn't stand there like in the movie. She runs. You know, once that pig's blood was poured on her, ran out of the gym and went outside. Someone tripped her inside. And so she gets up. Everyone's laughing. She leaves. All the doors slam shut. And then Carrie is seen looking in from the outside.
She was outside the gym when she massacred everyone. She was outside and she's smiling. Yeah. And even when she's wrecking the town, she's smiling and crying and trying. I
Yes.
think Stephen King wrote it as trying like Lady Macbeth to
Yes.
wipe the blood off her hands, just wandering down the street. I mean, it's so different from the image I went into the book with because I had seen the movie because we watched it together and then I read the book. And it was interesting too because it's like in her mind, because that's what I love about reading a book is you get to be inside the characters' minds. You don't really get that much internal dialogue in movies or in any other medium. And not as easily. But in Carrie's mind, it's almost like she started out not wanting to really horribly injure or kill anybody. She just wanted to make them cry. She wanted to make them feel the way she felt. And that was her intention until she watched someone get electrocuted and she thought the way his body looked as he was being electrocuted was funny. So she wanted to make them all look like that. And that's when things got really dark. And it was like all bets were off, and she was just wreaking havoc on everything and everyone.
Your heart really breaks for her. She's talked about in the book, she was a little chubby. She had acne on her back. She wasn't, beautiful. We see that she was kind of mousy. We see that in the book too, how she was described. And she finally felt beautiful at the prom and thought she was being accepted.
And honestly, it seemed like she was because there was something about being with Tommy that just elevated her. And I think
Hmm.
that's, I mean, that has a lot to say about how powerful influence is and the power of association.
And he was truly, I felt like a genuinely nice boy.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting how much there was like this sci-fi element too in the book because there are these excerpts from, I'm guessing, an article or a book that comes out after all of this called The Shadow Exploded. that are just sort of peppered in throughout the book to help explain things. And it's like whoever wrote this was trying to explain the history of telekinesis, specifically in regards to Carrie White and what happened at the prom. And so there are little bits here where it kind of explains the history of telekinesis and what we know about telekinesis and what, when telekinesis generally appears and how it skips a generation, like all this kind of interesting sci-fi lore that I thought was interesting, actually. I kind of liked that.
Yeah, it was good. Good insight.
This I thought was really interesting. Can I read an excerpt? And I'll see if you noticed the same thing I did. Okay, so Chris, the bully, Chris Hargensen, she comes across one of the ballots for the prom, for where you go to vote for prom king and queen, right? And she looks at it and it says, quote, "She stared at the ballot with greedy intensity. George and Frida. No way. Frida Jason was a Jew. Peter and Myra. No way here either. Myra was one of the female clique dedicated to erasing the whole horse race. She wouldn't serve even if elected. Besides, she was about as good looking as the ass end of old dray horse Ethel. Frank and Jessica. Quite possible. Frank Greer had made the all New England football team this year, but Jessica was another little sparrow fart with more pimples than brains. Dawn and Helen. Forget it. Helen Shires couldn't get elected dog catcher. And the last pairing, Tommy and Sue. Only Sue, of course, had been crossed out, and Carrie's name had been written in. Do you notice anything about what she's thinking as she looks over the ballot?
All I know is she's horrible.
She only has derisive thoughts about the girls on the ballots.
The girls.
Not a single negative thought about the boys. She thinks that she focuses on one of the guys, but she thinks about him positively.
That is very
All
true.
the girls she sees in a negative light.
Jealousy.
Oh, yeah. Deep insecurity.
Yes, definitely. Okay, the mother's waiting for her, though, isn't she? The mother's waiting for her in the book?
The mom, so Margaret's waiting for her when she gets home. But what I thought was interesting about this that's different in any other adaptation I saw is that Carrie fully admits, I came to kill you, Mom, and you're waiting to kill me. We're here to kill each other.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sad. It's really sad. Very, very sad. Good book. I won't read it again, but it was fun to do for this. Fun to read again, to see the movie, which I hadn't seen since I was a little girl, and see the stage production.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So, do we want to talk about the 1976 movie?
Absolutely. So, we have the incredibly talented Sissy Spacek playing Carrie. And she was young, but she wasn't that young. She
Yes.
looked young, but didn't I say she was like 28 or something crazy like that?
Yeah, she was like 27, 28, I think.
She
Crazy. She looked like she was 17.
Yeah.
Stephen King describes Carrie. Let's see. Carrie stood among them stolidly, a frog among swans. She was a chunky girl with pimples on her neck and back and buttocks, her wet hair completely without color. It rested against her face with dispirited sogginess, and she simply stood, head slightly bent, letting the water splat against her flesh and roll off. She looked the part of the sacrificial goat, the constant butt, believer in left-handed monkey wrenches, perpetual foul-up, and she was. Now, don't you hear that description, Mom, and immediately think, Sissy Spacek? That's who I think of.
Teeny tiny Sissy Spacek.
She's stunning. She was so beautiful in the whole dang movie.
You look at her and go, why is she made fun of? It's because of her freaky mother, the way she was brought up.
Well,
Yeah.
she played the part so well. Just a scared mouse is what comes to mind.
She acted her butt off. She was fantastic.
And hey, this is the first time we've talked about an actor that played a prominent character in a previous episode we've had, because she was May Tuck in Tuck Everlasting.
Yep.
Yes.
She was great.
Wow.
Okay. Sissy. We have 2 for Sissy now. She's leading the pack. Piper Laurie played her mother. And I don't know her from a lot, but I do know her name. But she was very good at playing unhinged.
She is memorable. Her performance is memorable. Parts of it really stand out to you and haunt you. She definitely delivered that. The image of her after stabbing Carrie, the image of her holding up the knife and just sort of smiling and gliding after her with the camera sort of cantered up toward her, looking from below, haunting. Like it's etched in my brain. It's terrifying. And she played it so well.
And the way they end after she stabbed her, and
Oh,
Carrie's like, "Oh no, you are not getting out of this house without me," and pulls her down with
yeah.
her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we should talk about the differences. So, how is this different from the book? Because I'd say up to a certain point, it's very similar. I'd say like up till prom night.
Oh gosh, they did a great job. You never see Chris's dad, the lawyer. He was
That's
mentioned
true.
a bit in the book. So the dad is never mentioned. The girls are horrible, and it's even worse to see it, to see how they treat Carrie. They were absolutely horrible.
Well, it's in the shower. I think you can read about it, but then you see it and just the vulnerability in that
Yes,
moment. You
yes.
can't get much more vulnerable than that. And they are being, there's no sympathy, there's no kindness. It's just meanness and terror. And for what? I don't get it.
Just mean.
But
Absolutely
yes, let's
mean.
talk about the gym coach. We love her.
Gym coach, Miss Broadway babe Betty Buckley.
Oh, I love her. She doesn't miss. I did not expect to see her in the movie.
No, I
I had
was
no idea she
stunned.
was Desjardins.
No, and she was wonderful, and I felt like she had true concern for Carrie, and she tried to befriend her, offer her advice. She was worried when Tommy invited her to the prom. She was like, "Why is he doing this? What's his ulterior motive?" She tried to warn Carrie, but Carrie's like, "No, no, he wants to go with me." And he did. He was doing it for Sue, but it was very sweet. And he was
Hmm.
very, very sweet. He being William Catt, who is someone that I grew up watching. William Catt. Curly, curly, curly blonde
Yeah.
hair. He looked very good in this movie.
I did not grow up watching him,
No, of course
but
not.
I did see him in the recording that they have of Pippin, the professional recording of Pippin.
Oh yes, Pippin. Absolutely. William Catt and Pippin.
So I knew he looked
Yes.
familiar, and honestly, it was the hair.
His hair is unmistakable.
That's one word for it.
Yes. Now, one person that shocked me that he was even in this, I had no idea. Mr. John Travolta. I was
Yes, can we
shocked.
please talk about John Travolta? I was talking about the way he played the character. It's like he rolled right off the grief set and into this movie.
And it was really downplayed in the movie. He didn't do a whole lot.
No, his character wasn't big, but also that would have been backwards because Grease came after this.
Oh,
But
okay.
still,
Yeah,
like
you're
the way
right.
he played the character, I'm like, he doesn't fit. He doesn't fit in this movie. He didn't make sense. The character didn't make sense to me, and I hadn't read the book. But now having read the book, I'm like, oh, this Billy was so mild. He was the
Yeah.
mildest, most
He
easily
was not,
manipulated Billy. Really,
yes.
he just sort of seemed dumb.
Okay.
Chris was
It
just
was like
using him.
it was like in the movie he followed Chris, where in the
Yes,
book
yeah.
he was dominant and she followed
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, and like the prank was Chris's idea, but Billy just took it and ran. He gives off so many signs of a serial killer, it's scary. Like in the book, there's this weird detail of how when he's bored, he just goes out looking for stray dogs and then comes home with his bumper dripping. Yikes. And
That's
then
bad.
just his behaviors, how he wants to just torture people. He's mean. He doesn't care about anybody but himself. Even as he starts to think about Chris, he starts to get very tired of her. And he even gets to a point where he's thinking about the blood falling on Carrie. And he's thinking, oh, it could happen to anybody. And I'd think it was funny. It'd be fine. It could be Chris and it'd be fine. Like, he doesn't care about anybody. But then there's also it's when Chris is freaking out because the whole school and town are on fire.
Hmm.
He says, "Hey, let's go. We're gonna go watch some fires. We're gonna watch fires burn."
Yeah. The book,
Yeah, really concerning behaviors. Really concerning. So anyway, sorry, that was to go back to the book. But John Travolta's Billy was so not
so
that
John
way.
Travolta was in a television show which started in 75. And so this was the movie was 76. So here he's playing this character in Welcome Back Cotter. And he was a beloved character, Vinnie Barbarino. And I feel like maybe they didn't want Billy to be too bad because it's John Travolta. I don't know. Because the movie, They just did not make him as bad as he was in the book.
No, no.
And do I like John Travolta? I love John Travolta. I grew up watching John Travolta. I have John Travolta's autograph.
So for anyone who's only listening, my mom is now proudly holding up her signed photo
So
of
that's
John
not all.
Travolta.
So I wrote to John Travolta and I sent him my little insert to my Grease DVD. Said, hey, would you mind signing this? And so he did. He signed it here and inside at Grease Lightning.
That's
And
nice.
sent me a picture.
That's really
So
sweet.
to Laura, John Travolta. I think he's just very down to earth. So
Yeah.
very cool. Very, very
The
neat.
older he gets, the more I like his performances.
Mm.
His earlier stuff, I never understood the appeal. I don't.
You didn't grow up with him the way I did.
Obviously.
Let's see. Sue in the movie.
Hmm.
Amy Irving. I love Amy Irving. And one of my favorite performances of hers is Yentl. I can't think of her name in Yentl, but she plays Mandy Patinkin's fiance. But then she
Streisand?
ends up marrying Barbara Streisand. But
Yes.
she was so sweet. And I loved her as Sue. I thought she was perfectly cast as Sue.
Yeah. I really, really, really liked her Sue a lot. And she goes to the prom in this movie because she really wants to see Carrie be happy. Her boyfriend literally kisses Carrie right there in front of her, and she's like, "This is so great. I'm so happy for Carrie."
And so that's where it's different. Chris and Billy are hiding in where are they? The gym? They're in the
They're like
gymnasium.
under the
They're
stage. They're under the platform.
under the stage and they've got a rope with the buckets of blood. And so they're trying to get those buckets to fall. And Sue
It's just
sees
one
this
bucket.
rope. One
Yeah.
bucket. Sue sees the rope. And she's like, what is going on? And she's following the rope up, sees the bucket, and then follows it back down to see where it's going and knows that it is Chris and Billy doing this. And
Oh, this makes it so much sadder.
she wants to stop them. She tries to go to stop them. And the gym teacher, she
Miss
is pulling her
Desjardins.
away. You cannot be here. You need to leave. She was named something else in the movie. I guess Desjardins
I
was
don't, was
harder.
she? No, I don't think so.
Where did I have it? Betty Buckley. Oh, I didn't write down the name that she had. But
I had just looked it up a little while ago, and that was her character name.
okay. Well, she pulls her away and shoves her out of the gym, which ends up being a good thing because everybody in the gym died.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm looking. Oh, no, you're right, Mom. I'm totally wrong. You were right. No, they have her as Miss Collins.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know
I don't
why.
know if they
She
thought
was Miss
Desjardins
Collins.
was so hard to say. I don't know, but I thought
I
it was
don't
a
know.
different name and I just didn't write it
I'm
down.
sorry. No, you were right. But then we get the iconic scene, the scene that everyone knows, and it's where Sissy Spacek is standing there in her beautiful dress that she made, that I have to say, by description only, is just so much better than the one that Carrie makes in the book. Which I think she makes a lovely dress in the book. I just really like the one Sissy wears. She's standing there, covered in blood. Tommy's been whacked on the head by the bucket, and he's passed out dead? I don't know. I couldn't tell.
Knocked out from that bucket
He's knocked
hit.
out at least by the bucket, which I'm not gonna
And
lie, I did laugh when I saw
her
that.
dress is white. Great choice. Great contrast with the red blood. I thought making it white was an excellent choice.
Oh gosh, it's just so sad. And I think you only watched this movie, right? Okay, I've watched 3 Carrie movies. I think there's a version of this scene that I liked better overall, but as far as performances go, Sissy's is my favorite.
Okay. When she
And
opens those
it's
eyes wide,
there's something that's so eerie and chilling about how she just stands there calmly with those wide, wide eyes. And you hear the little violins because everything was silent. There was no music, but you hear she's looking around at people laughing. and she goes into this trance. And I like that choice. I really do. I like it better than her running out of the gym and watching from the outside. All she does is look at each set of doors and you hear them closing. And with each set of doors, you hear the little violin strings. It's very psycho
Hmm.
and it provides just the perfect chill factor where you're like, oh, something's about to go down. It's done so well. In any of the other versions I saw, nothing beats her closing those doors with her eyes and hearing the violins. Nothing beats that. It was
And
so
the
simple and so
mhm.
well done.
And then the sprinklers. She turns the sprinklers on. You're like,
She
okay,
turns on a power hose, a fire
yes.
hose.
But then the band, she looks over and she sees all of the stuff hooked up, plugged in, and
Yep.
that's when it went crazy with the water.
Yep. Yep. And she sets the place on fire. But she calmly walks down off the platform. Everyone is screaming in terror, trying to get out. It's horrible. We see the principal die. We see all these people die. We see her enemies, the people who have bullied her, get killed in horrible ways. And we see Miss Collins, Betty Buckley, Desjardins' character. I mean, it's so
Yes,
sad.
she does it in the
And
book. She does not die in the book.
right. She leaves so calmly. And then instead of going home, we don't see her wreck the town at all, do we? That doesn't happen.
No, she does not.
No,
She just
she
wants to
does
get
not wreck the
home.
town.
Just
She's
wants to
trying to
get
go
home.
home.
But on the way home,
Yes. What happens?
she sees Chris and Billy in the car and they are trying to run away to escape. And she causes their car to crash and it explodes.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. So they're gone. That's really all that can be said about that. But then she gets home and I mean, you know me, I was not having a great time when she got home because Margaret was freaking me out so much. I was having like, Mom, you traumatized me. Rabbit hole. You traumatized me. I don't know how old I was, but you thought it would be great to watch The Lady in White. What possessed you? I
I liked it when I was growing up. Is that the one we're talking about? The
loved
one
it.
I liked it. I liked it. We're talking about the
Why?
old movie, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you classify old. The
Couldn't
one
remember
where it's
the
the
name of
one
the
where
one
the little
boy.
boy gets locked in the coat closet at school and he
Yes,
sees this like ghost little girl
yes,
get thrown off a cliff.
yes. I liked that movie when I was little.
Well, Margaret White was giving me flashbacks to that movie because do you remember that crazy lady who the boy ends up in her house and her
Yes,
whole room is surrounded by candles and she's like,
yes.
"It's okay." No, she's like, "Hold on." She's like, "It's okay. You'll be fine. It's all good." And then, like when you think, okay, maybe this lady is not freaky, maybe she's nice, she's just into some really weird stuff. She gets strangled from behind, like unexpectedly. I was getting Lady in White vibes watching Piper Laurie as Margaret in this final scene. I will never watch that movie again, Mom. Ever, never. I don't know why you liked it.
Did. I don't know. That's so funny.
Anyway, crazy rabbit hole, but that's what that reminded me of. Her performance reminded me of other things about that movie, Lady in White. Gosh, I hate that movie. Okay, anyway, Carrie, we're back on Carrie. Margaret standing behind that door as Carrie comes in and she goes upstairs to wash herself and wash all the blood off. When she walks through, you can barely make out Margaret's white nightgown. That freaked me out. It freaked me out so much how she just stood there so still. And it just makes you wonder what is going through this character's mind. That's not a place I want to be. That's for
No,
sure.
no, not at all. I don't understand why they had the mother just kind of standing behind the door waiting, and then she never did anything.
She's had a
Carrie
full
goes,
psychotic break. She's
yeah,
not living in reality. She's
Carrie went into the bathroom and ran the tub and took a bath and to get all the blood off. So from seeing this when I was younger, I remembered, of course, the gym. You can't forget the gym. You
right.
remember everything that happens at the gym. And I remembered a bathtub. But for me, in my head, I thought something bad happened in the bathtub, but it didn't. So, but I remembered the bathtub. It must have been the blood maybe in the water
Yeah.
that I remembered from when I was a child.
Yeah. So you have
Yeah.
nice, clean Carrie, who now is looking for comfort from her mom, and her
You
mom
were
is trying to get her to pray with her, and in that moment, she's holding her daughter and stabs
comforting
her.
her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and stabs her. And then you've
And so
got
when
terrified Carrie scrambling backwards on the floor, and that image of Margaret.
Carrie, it made me sad. After the prom, she's caused the destruction of the whole town. She goes home. And she goes home to her mother thinking she's going to get comfort from her mother. And she says, "You were right." Because the mother had said, "Oh, they're going to make fun of you. You know, you won't be accepted, all this." And she went, "You were right." And the mother's hugging her. "Oh, yes, I'm going to take care of you." And stabs her.
And gliding after her with the knife.
So, what they did at the end, once Carrie pulls her mother down into the closet, the prayer closet, whatever it was.
Where she would get locked.
Yes, we
Well, we're
see the
skipping a
house.
whole lot there
Okay, go ahead.
because she kills her mother before then.
How did she kill her?
Her telekinesis, she gets all the knives from the kitchen and just one after the other. Yeah.
Okay, I remember that from a child too, from when I
Stabs
saw
her
it.
in
But
like five different places. But they're
yes,
all in places that weird Jesus emblem in the closet, it has arrows and stuff. I'm like, okay, that's not like
it was
Jesus. I think it's supposed to be Jesus. It is in the book, but
it was
Jesus
weird.
wasn't pierced in all those different places. Anyway,
Oh, it was very weird. Yeah,
but she ends up stabbing her mother in all those same places, both hands, and then every like a shoulder, the ribs, like the stomach in different places. So I thought that
yeah.
was interesting.
I
And then
thought that
she
was
pulls her mother down, like, after she's dead. And yes, like you were saying, what were you saying?
the house implodes upon itself. Yeah, it was weird. And of course, it being a movie, we do see Sue. Sue has gone crazy from all of this.
It's
Very,
really
very
sad.
sad. And Sue goes to pay her respect. And of course, it's a movie. So what do you have to have in a scary movie? A jump scare.
Yeah, we do have a jump scare there at the very end where we see Sue trying to pay her respects to Carrie, and she's going to Carrie's grave to bring flowers. And what happens? Carrie's arm shoots up from the ground and grabs Sue. But Sue, bless her heart. See, I don't see her as having gone crazy. I mean, she's traumatized.
Well, the
She has
way
PTSD.
because the jump scare was a dream and
Yes.
and Sue is she in a hospital or is she
No,
in
she's
her
at
own
home. She's
room?
at home with her mother.
Okay. And she wakes up screaming bloody murder. It terrified her. So I do think she's having horrible nightmares from all of this. And you don't see that in the book, but we do
No,
see that in the movie.
no. What's interesting about the book is one of the police detectives who's questioning Sue, he has the observation that he thinks it's really weird how unaffected she seems
Yes.
by everything. So she's traumatized and it's really sad. Nightmares like that, flashbacks, that would be common in PTSD. Okay, so are we going to talk the musical
What do you
or do
want
we
to
want to
do?
talk the other movies? I don't care,
Yeah,
whatever you want to do. I
you can
could
talk
go
to
ahead
me.
and tell you. Okay, I
Yeah.
can tell you about the other movies. I'll be
Okay.
brief. So, I watched the 2002 TV movie Carrie. Boy, was it 2002. It was so 2002.
Was it
I
set
mean,
in 2000?
yes, it was set in 2002. So, Angela Bettis was Carrie. And I was looking her up because she seemed so familiar, but I don't think I've seen her in anything. But she does
I
a
know her
lot
name.
of horror, it seems like.
Oh, okay.
And I like horror movies, but I really don't think I've seen her in much. But she was Carrie, and Margaret was played by Patricia Clarkson.
Okay.
I love her. And then I really didn't know anybody else. I'll just for to give credit, Sue was played by Candice McClure. I looked her up. I've never seen her in anything. Chris was played by Emily Ravin, who we love. We love her.
Once upon a
She's in
time.
Lost. She's Belle in Once Upon a Time. We love her. I know her from you probably never watched this, but I saw her in Roswell.
I can't believe she was Chris, such a bad guy, because she's
She
always so
was
sweet.
Chris. She usually plays very sweet. Now, I got to see her as like sort of a bad guy in Roswell, so I could see where it came from, but she is just so gorgeous. She's so
Yeah.
beautiful, and her accent was good. I didn't know how
America.
her American accent would be, but it was good. But then Tommy was played by Tobias Meller, Billy by Jesse Cadott, and Desjardins was played by Rena Sofer, and I
Oh,
don't,
I love
I'm
Rita
not familiar with
Sofer.
any of them. Oh, you
I
know
grew up
her. Awesome.
I do. I know exactly who she is. Yeah. She's good. So she was the gym teacher?
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
And
good.
she was
Okay.
really nice. She was super sweet, super nice.
Were there slaps in this one?
No, no one got slapped that I can remember, except for Carrie by her mother.
Well, that would make sense.
So I will just say it was very 2002. They did introduce the concept of the internet because Carrie goes to the library to look up miracles and she stumbles upon telekinesis, but she's using the internet to look it up to do some research. And Tommy,
She looks it
yes,
up in books. Yes. Okay. But
yes,
now we're in modern
we have the
times and
internet now.
okay,
Yes.
gotcha.
Yes. Gosh, there was so much hair gel in this movie. And there was this weird exposure in the way they filmed it. The exposure, it was so early 2000s. It's ridiculous. I will say performance-wise, weirdly, my favorite performance was by the principal.
Really?
And they did include the scene with Chris's father, the attorney, coming to argue with the
Okay.
principal. I loved that scene
Right.
in the book, so I liked getting to see it in this movie.
Absolutely. I couldn't believe it wasn't in the movie. But I think back in the 70s they were a little more aware of how long movies were and they tried to keep them shorter.
Sure. Yeah. And is it that important? No, but I really liked it in the book.
Me
Laurie
too.
Murdoch was the principal, and I really liked him, his performance. Carrie, I think here's the biggest issue I had with this one. I think for a TV movie, it actually held up really well. And honestly, a lot of the effects that they had were better than the 1970s. My biggest issue is that we have someone like Patricia Clarkson, but she came off as one of the most normal people in the whole movie. And Carrie, on the other hand, was played very, I'm trying to think of how to describe it. It's like she was slightly overplayed, and Patricia Clarkson very much downplayed it.
Okay.
Very muted in the way she played Margaret. And so it almost came across as though Margaret was the abused one.
Wow.
So it felt very backwards, and you wanted to feel sorry for Carrie, but at the same time, it wasn't very clear what was so bad about her mom. Yes, she had abusive tendencies. She's verbally abusive, says terrible things. We have flashbacks of her slapping Carrie. That's awful, horribly abusive. But at the same time, she came across as so mild that it was like, why is Carrie, on the other hand, so weird? So
Interesting.
I just don't think it worked. Now,
I
they
kind
actually
I
included
would
the scene with the raining stones on the house when Carrie was a little
okay.
girl. They
Yeah.
included that scene. I liked seeing that. But this movie just dragged on. There was too much with Billy and Chris. I really did not care to see so much with Billy and Chris.
I wonder if it's because it was Emily.
I don't
Was this
know,
before?
but it was like they highlighted Billy
Oh,
he definitely came across as unhinged the way he played the character, which after reading the book, it works. It definitely fit better than John Travolta did. But all the things play out. Interestingly, similar to the book, a lot of the story is broken up with police interviews. Police are interviewing Sue for a lot of it and interviewing another one of the students. And then one of the guys who goes with Billy to kill the pigs to get the pig's blood.
okay.
So they're interviewing different people to try to figure out what happened on prom nights. I don't think it added that much because then it ends and we get nowhere with it. The police have absolutely no idea what happened. So we don't even really get any conclusion. So I think we could take it or leave it, honestly. But the prom night, everything happens like we see. She has a pretty pink dress on. Tommy's really nice, like usual. They dance, they get voted prom king and queen, they go up, the blood happens. And very similar to the 70s movie, she remains on stage and Tommy gets whacked on the head with the bucket, passes out, and she has a lot more she had a lot more like eye rolling and shaking. It was almost like she was losing control of herself in those moments. So anytime she did telekinesis, she would practice too, but it was like she was also having a seizure at the same time. So she was much more physical in the way she
Interesting
performed that
choice.
aspect.
So I would prefer Sissy SpaceX version.
Oh, I do as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
I told
yeah.
you that was my favorite. performance as far as Carrie goes. In this one, Miss Desjardins actually helps save a lot of the students because she gets an air vent off the wall and starts ushering students through the air vent to help them get out. Then she grabs on to the vent, but the chair she's standing on gets knocked out from under her, and she's just hanging there as soon as the live wires come down and hit the water on the floor. You see a whole bunch of students get electrocuted and just all go down, and she's hanging on trying not to fall. But then Carrie leaves. She does a very similar Sissy Spacek thing where she just walks down, and they show an interesting thing where she's unaffected by the electrical water because in her telekinesis, she is pushing the water away from her as she walks. So the water on the floor is rolling away from her.
Okay.
But she leaves the gym and it explodes, and you're just sitting there going, so what happened to Desjardins?
She put it.
Turns out she
Wow.
survived. She's being interviewed by police later. And I'm like, how did she get out? How? I don't
Plot
know
hole.
how that happened.
Big hole right there.
Yes. But she survived. And Carrie does set the whole town on fire. She kills Chris and Billy, who try to run her over.
Yes, the other one did too. In the movie, they
Yeah.
tried to run her over too. Yeah.
She kills them. I did laugh because they try to run her over and they run into her. But it's like she is a steel barrier and the truck just explodes against her and flies over her and all this stuff. And then ends up wrapped around a tree. It was brutal. But I was also like, okay, she's telekinetic. She's not invincible.
Man, that's funny.
And then she gets home, and this was really different. She goes upstairs and she also gets in the bath, which is so interesting because I don't remember her doing that in the book. Does she take a bath in the book?
No,
No, I didn't
no.
think so. She takes a bath in every other version.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah,
So she gets
no.
up, she takes a bath. And it's really interesting because it's like she's in a trance as well, the way Sissy Spacek was. She gets in the bath is full. She's doing everything with her mind. So she's sitting in the water and she watches one last droplet come down and she suspends it in midair and then she lets it fall. And when the last little droplet falls, it's like she comes out of her trance and she can't remember anything. She doesn't know what she did. And her mother comes into the room and seems very unsurprised by everything. She does sort of comfort Carrie. Carrie is asking for help. She wants to know what she did. She's terrified. Her mother starts to pray with her, and Carrie is praying along with her, and then her mother plunges her under the water and tries to drown her.
Okay, tries to.
Carrie stops moving, and then her eyes open under the water. So she's still under the water, and she's looking at her mother, and then we get some great 2002 TV movie CGI where we zoom into Margaret White's chest and we can see her beating heart within her chest in perfect CGI. I'm telling you. And we see that Carrie is squeezing her heart telekinetically. Like in the book, she stops her heart. So she dies on the bathroom floor. Well, Carrie
Good
just
Carrie.
stays under the water. And then Sue Snell shows up, pulls her out of the water, and performs CPR and brings her back. So Carrie's alive. And we go back to some police interview where the police are like, well, we still haven't identified Carrie's body. And Sue makes this weird little face. Sue has been hiding Carrie. She gets her this awful blonde wig. They go and visit Carrie and her mother's gravesite. They leave flowers for her. They get in a car, they're driving, and Sue says, I'll drive you as far as Florida. And Carrie has a couple of weird flashbacks where she thinks she sees her mom and she thinks she sees Chris. So she's not okay at all. But it ends and presumably Sue takes her to Florida.
What?
Yeah,
No, 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 no. I mean, as much as I like Carrie and I feel for her, that's the wrong ending.
I agree.
That's weird. What other one did you watch?
I watched the 2013 one
How
with
was it?
Chloe Grace Moretz.
Okay, as Carrie?
Yes, and she's amazing. She is such an amazing actress. Do you remember Hugo? So she's a child actress. She's done, or she was, she's grown now. She's done lots of things. And I've seen her in a lot, but I'm trying to think if there's anything else you would have seen her in.
Remember Hugo?
Yes, she's amazing. She does a great job as Carrie. It's much more Sissy Spacek toned, so she's very withdrawn. They have a great opening scene. It hooked me immediately. Julianne Moore is Margaret White.
Julianne Moore is Margaret?
Yes.
Oh, she's so good.
She was my favorite Margaret that I watched as
Really?
far as the movies go. Yes, she's
I
so
may have to
good.
watch it for her.
I actually was watching it and I was like, I think mom would like this. She's so good.
I love her.
It opens with something that we get in the book that we don't see anywhere else. This movie shows Carrie's birth. So the book talks about how Margaret was sort of in denial about her pregnancy because she believed that if she brought a child forth, it was evidence of her sin. So it's
Mhm.
like children are only born of sin because sex is only sinful in her mind. So we see her laboring at home, Julianne Moore, and this hits really close to home because I've had two home births. So this scene messed me up a little bit. She's laboring at home alone. Can't imagine that. On her bed, and she's clearly confused and frightened. And she does have the baby, but it's like she doesn't know what's happened. She looks between her legs, and you see her nightgown, and she pulls her nightgown back, and you see just this little baby, this little newborn baby between her legs, just looking around, and it's little baby Carrie. It was such a great idea for the opening scene because Carrie, there she is, covered in blood. And the movie ends with her covered
Oh,
in blood.
yeah, that's good. That's really good. Who directed it, do you know?
Yeah. Kimberly Pierce.
Oh, a woman. That's very well done.
Yes. Well, the book talks about how Margaret is tempted to kill Carrie when she's born.
Yes,
Julianne Moore as Margaret picks up this awful pair of sewing scissors, you know, those heavy duty scissors.
I have some.
And I don't know how they filmed this. They better not have gotten those scissors anywhere near that baby because it looked like they got like this close before she stops herself from stabbing this tiny little baby. And she puts the scissors down and she picks up the little baby and she explains to Carrie later that she considered sacrificing her to God when she was first born, but that she was weak. And now it's time that she be
She says that
obedient to
in the book.
God and kill her daughter.
She says that in the book, doesn't she?
Huh?
That's from the book. That's from the
Yep.
book, the wanting to
Yeah.
sacrifice her.
It's
Yeah, yeah. So this is the only
horrible.
movie that you've seen that had that. Wow.
She played it so well. And as far as performances go, like this, I could believe as someone suffering from untreated schizophrenia. She plays it very well. And it's not to demonize people who suffer from schizophrenia, but when it goes untreated, it can go to some very dark and scary places. And it
Mhm.
really affects the people in their lives, especially children, if it goes untreated. So she is amazing.
Okay.
The shower scene was as you would expect, but I think made like 50 times worse because this is also set in 2013. So, what did teenage girls have access to then that they didn't in the 70s?
Self.
Smartphones where they can record her. And then, after pouring pig's blood on her at the prom, blast it on the screens in the gym. And that's when I was thinking, like, yeah, I'd be feeling pretty murderous too.
So the other movie, the original Carrie movie was set in North Carolina. Where was this one set? In
Honestly, I
Maine?
couldn't tell you.
Okay, don't know.
Couldn't tell you.
Okay. Well, we were curious because there were some southern accents
Mm-hmm.
in the first one. So it's like,
Yes.
what's going on? Okay.
I know. I was confused too. I was like, this is set in Maine. Stephen
Maine.
King writes
Yeah.
everything in Maine.
They changed it to North Carolina.
Hmm.
So how was the prom in that one and when she started using her powers?
It was good. So Tommy is played by Ansel Elgort. Do you know who that is?
I don't know. The name seems familiar.
He's the new Tony in the West Side Story remake.
I love him. Okay. Yeah. Super
Hmm.
tall.
So he's Tommy. Yes, and he was adorable. He played it very well. Sue was Gabriella Wilde. She looked so familiar, but the only thing I think I've ever seen her in was she was Constance in that new Three Musketeers. Well, it was new at the time. It's not
Oh,
anymore.
yeah. Okay.
But she was Constance. Chris was portrayed by Portia Doubleday. I hadn't seen her in anything else. Billy was Alex Russell, and Desjardins was played by Judy Greer.
Oh, I love her.
Me too! And she was my favorite Desjardins. I liked her even better than Betty Buckley.
Julianne and Judy both in this one,
Oh,
and they are both Jurassic Park people.
yes, they are. My husband came in while I was watching this one and he went, I know her. And of course, as soon as he said that, I was spouting off, yeah, you've seen her in this and this and this. And he was like, yeah, I wasn't asking.
Judy Greer, great character actress.
Hmm.
Wonderful. I love her in 13 Going on 30. She's
The Village.
adorable. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. She's very, very good.
So she was great. And Carrie does practice her telekinesis in this one as well. And she is thrilled. She loves practicing her telekinesis. She loves that she can do it. Also, she gets on the internet at the library and she watches videos on people practicing telekinesis. So it's just neat to see the little modern elements that come in. Desjardins does something that a more modern day teacher would do, and she apologizes to Carrie for slapping her in the shower. Because she does slap her.
Ooh. Oh, wow. Okay.
Because
Wow.
Carrie's freaking out.
Right. Trying to get her to calm down to get control of herself. And that's why we see the gym teacher slap Carrie when
Yes.
she's in the shower.
Yes. But that's
Yes.
the only slap I can remember. And this Billy was also horrible, but he was sort of in between the TV Billy and the John Travolta Billy.
Oh, okay.
So he was sort of like a mix of the two. He wasn't as bad as Book Billy, I would
Book
say.
is definitely the worst then.
He was horrible.
Yeah. Very.
But the prom, they show that video of her and she's up there. So this was interesting. When the bucket falls, it hits Tommy and it kills him. It's very obvious that he
A
is dead.
galvanized steel bucket?
It definitely seemed like a heavier bucket in this movie. I watched it and I was like, still kind of hard to believe, but at the same time, more believable than the 70s movie. But it kills him, and it's the way they shoot it, the way it hits him. He falls down on the stage, and he's just staring off into nothing. Carrie is being laughed at, but she gets down to look at him, and it's like Tommy's death is what sets her off. That's what makes her lose it. So
Interesting.
that's when she stands up and everything changes.
Now, I
Now,
think that's a
the way
neat
she
choice.
does her telekinesis is she gets her hands involved a lot. So she looks like 11 from Stranger Things in the way she's moving things around. And this one, this was definitely the goriest. The first thing she does is she sort of like builds up energy and she pushes the room back, and everyone just goes flying back against the back of the gym. Everyone, tables, chairs, everybody. We have people getting crushed in the bleachers. We have girls getting trampled by people because Carrie is forcing them down on the ground and won't let them get up. So they're getting trampled. It's pretty brutal. And Carrie is grinning. So she's also up on the stage the whole time. She doesn't run out of the gym like in the book, but she does smile. So that was one thing that was kind of like the book.
Yes.
And at one point, she picks up Desjardins by the throat and is holding her suspended in midair in the gym. And she lets the live wires come down. She brings them down. And of course, there's water all over the floor. So now you can't be on the floor without dying. But she brings Desjardins up to the stage with her and drops her behind her. So she sort of saves her. So she does survive,
Oh, okay.
but it's because Carrie picked her up off the floor before she's, electrified it.
Interesting.
So then she leaves. Of course, she's setting the whole town. She's blowing everything up, everything. And Billy and Chris, this I thought was a funny detail. They are trying to leave, and they do their stunt from up in the catwalk.
Okay. Yeah.
But they are trying to leave, and it shows them in the parking lot stuck because they've been completely boxed in by other cars at the dance. So they're stuck. But they do get out somehow, and they're having trouble on the road because Carrie is causing a crack in the road to follow their car. And then the road caves in, so they have to stop and turn around. And then they see, oh, look, it's Carrie. And Chris tells Billy to run her down, run her over, hit her. So he speeds up and starts going for her. She stops it. This scene was really drawn out. She stops them so suddenly that Billy breaks his nose against the car, against the steering wheel, and he passes out. So
Wow.
then Chris is trying to take control of the car and get out of there. Carrie's not letting her, and Carrie is sort of toying with her. And there's this moment when Chris is pedal to the metal on the gas, and she and Carrie make eye contact, and they are just staring. And finally, Carrie lets her go, and she races into a gas station. And the car stops. Nothing explodes yet. You would hate this. They have this slow mo of Chris's face going through the windshield and sort of getting stuck there. So she stops and her face is stuck in the broken glass. And of course, Ray, being the realist that he is, watches it and goes, yeah, that's not the right glass for that. And then Carrie blows up the gas station, of course. So she gets home, and Julianne Moore was so scary. Carrie goes and she takes a bath and she's freaking out a little bit about what's happened. I think she's somewhat confused. Sue Snell is looking for her. So it's like the book. She's running around trying to find Carrie. And Carrie comes out of the bath and she's looking for her mom. And this movie felt very much like it wasn't derived from the book. So it felt very much more like it was a remake of the 70s movie. You've got mother comforting daughter, and then she stabs her, and Carrie is scrambling along the floor, but it was much more intense. I mean, the amount of times that knife came down, and you thought it was going to hit Carrie, whew, it was intense. Carrie ends up picking up any projectile she can with her telekinesis and aiming it at her mother. So it's all suspended in midair. So her mom finally stops and Carrie says, "I'm sorry." And she lets them all go. And I mean, this woman is riddled with knives, rulers, scissors, anything you can think of. But she dies in a similar position as in the 70s movie. And then the whole house collapses on them
Okay.
once. So it's very similar to the 70s movie and how it ends. But Sue Snell gets to the house before that happens. She's trying to get Carrie to come with her. And apparently Sue is pregnant in this. We see some signs that she's pregnant. And then there's a weird moment between Sue and Carrie when the house is shaking and is about to collapse. And Carrie just looks at Sue and goes, "It's a girl." And then she pushes Sue out of the house and into the street and sets her down gently, and then the house collapses.
That's interesting. But I forgot about that. In the book, Sue misses her period and starts to think, "Oh my gosh,
That's
I wonder if
right.
I'm
Okay,
pregnant."
I was like, did I make that up? Because I thought I remembered that.
But then she does get her period, and so she's not pregnant. But yeah, in the book, that was in
Okay.
there. Forgot about that.
So now I need you to talk more about the stage production because I'm not
Absolutely.
as familiar with this one.
I am ready. And so this is really neat. I love my Sirius XM, and I was listening to the Broadway station. I listen to it a lot. I go back and forth between the Broadway and the 80s. Those are my two favorites. And Seth Rudetsky was on. He has his show every day, and he brings up Carrie. My ears perk up because I thought we're going to be talking about Carrie. So the Broadway show was in 1988. And it opened on a Thursday, and he got his tickets for that opening night. And so he
Wow.
goes opening night, and he said he was so glad he went because then the show closed by Sunday.
Yep.
It bombed. But it wasn't just bombing. He pointed this out. He said for some reason in the mid to late 80s, Broadway had a really hard time keeping shows open. For whatever reason, it was a little phase they went through, and Carrie was one that just did not survive. So it ran from May 12th to May 15th, 1988. Seth Rudetsky got to go opening night. Thank you, Seth, for that little bit of information because I found it really interesting. And what's sad is Margaret, the mother, is played by none other than Betty Buckley. And not even Betty Buckley could keep the show open.
No. Oh, Betty Buckley. Oh, there's an amazing clip of Betty Buckley singing one of the songs from the musical. For anyone who might have forgotten, Betty Buckley was Miss Desjardins, the gym teacher in the 1970s movie. And then she went on to play Margaret the mother in the 1988 musical.
It was fantastic. I
But to
love
hear
that.
that woman sing, if you are listening and you've never heard Betty Buckley sing, I need you to stop what you're doing. I need you to get on YouTube, and I need you to either look her up in Carrie, look her up as Grisabella in Cats. Just listen to this woman sing.
Yeah. Betty Buckley
She
is
makes it
amazing.
look so freaking easy. It's sickening.
Okay. And for more modern, maybe younger listeners, she is in the scary movie. She's the
M. Night Shyamalan's
psychiatrist.
Split
What Split?
with James
She's
McAvoy
very good.
and
Yes.
Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yes. So very, very good.
Yes.
So the
Yes, I love
musical,
her in that too.
yes. The musical that I saw, wait, back to the Broadway show. Playing Chris, and I love this tidbit, is Charlotte I don't know how to say the last name very well. D'Amboise?
Yes!
Forest
I
Line? Cassie? So we saw this wonderful documentary about how they made the chorus line and how they were going to cast the revival. It's called Every Little Step. It is so good. I highly recommend looking for that wonderful, wonderful documentary. But this shows Charlotte's audition process and everything she went through. And it talks about her dad, who was a famous, incredible dancer. You would have seen him in Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, in the ballet scene of Carousel. Just a wonderful, wonderful dancer. So I loved that. She played Chris.
I knew that and I had forgotten. Charlotte
And
D'Amboise.
so
I'm so glad you mentioned that. You know who she's married to, right?
maybe
We've
who?
mentioned her husband on the podcast before. So he was in Tuck Everlasting as the man in the yellow suit on Broadway. It's Terrence Mann. That's her husband.
I love him too.
Doesn't that
That's
make
awesome.
sense? Yes, of course it does.
Yes. Okay, so the show that I saw was set in modern day. I'll talk about some of the acting choices and stuff. The mom, like you said, she played her. It made me go, it must be hard to play unhinged because she wasn't unhinged at all. She was she seemed so calm. She was a fantastic singer. I loved her voice. Wonderful, wonderful singer, but not as strong of an actor. So her singing, top notch. What confused me is they had her. This is supposed to be this conservative, ultra religious fanatic. They had her in a slip the entire time, a slip with a little robe over it. It was a house coat. It was a very odd choice to me. I didn't understand why she was in a slip the whole time. It was very confusing. Carrie, she was great all around. Amazing. The best singer is Chris.
Mhm.
As for the young people, oh my word, she was so good. Very, very, very good. Sue, strong actor, great actor. Singing was okay. Tommy, great singer. So I loved there was a song, I Love You. It was an I Love You song between the mom and Carrie. I loved that song. It was beautiful. It made you hope that there would be a good relationship there, but they were both expressing this love for one another that they had.
Hmm.
Some nice songs in the
When is the stage version set?
modern day.
Okay, it's modern day. So they didn't stick it in the 70s. And the one you saw was the revival version, right? So it's
Mm,
not the same version as 1988. It's the one that they revised, changed some of the songs
I
to try to
guess,
save it.
yeah. So Sue tries to apologize to Carrie after they were so ugly to her. The coach makes the girls all line up. She makes them all apologize. They do reluctantly,
Oh,
but she makes them all apologize for what they do to Carrie. And of course, this is on stage. So you can't have a shower scene, but they start throwing pads and tampons at her. But they're dressed in their gym clothes and stuff.
do you think it translated well to the stage?
I think it could work. I like the movie better though, I think.
You actually brought up something we haven't mentioned that I think is a good point. Desjardins, the gym teacher, in every version punishes the heck out of those girls. And we didn't talk
Yeah.
about the reason why Chris wasn't at the prom and why she was
That's
so angry and hated Carrie so much is because she refused to show up for her suspension for bullying Carrie in the first place. So Desjardins made sure she couldn't get her prom ticket.
not the suspension. She was
Her detention. I was homeschooled. I don't know these words.
so but the gym teacher, she encourages her. She's very kind to her in the stage production as well. But I felt like the mom was too calm.
Hmm.
And there's only one bucket here. This was sweet. Of course, Sue asked Tommy to ask Carrie to the prom. And before that, Tommy makes a little prom for Sue. And it was very sweet.
That
A little
is
time
sweet.
to spend a little time, just the two of them together. It was very sweet. Liked that. And Sue in this show, she did go to the prom. She wanted to see Carrie happy. And she too tries to warn the gym teacher that something was going to happen. The gym teacher pushes her away, takes her away.
That
So
happened in the 2013 version too.
So I really felt for Carrie, the actress. That bucket pours on her, and she takes a tissue out of her dress, and she's trying to wipe that stuff out of her eyes.
Can you imagine having to perform that live? Is she having to sing?
Well, not at this point, but I think that they tried to get the blood to go back and maybe not forward, but of course it did some, and it was thick. It was a pretty thick bucket of blood or whatever it was. No bucket hits Tommy. Tommy just walks off and walks away.
Yes.
That was kind of strange. I was
I
like,
did see just this scene because I was curious.
hey, you did. You did
Yeah.
watch that. Yeah, he just walked away to join his friends. So what she did with the telekinesis in this part, you just can't beat Sissy Spacek's face. And you can't get
Right.
that on the stage because the
I
stage,
agree.
you're so far away. There's something about seeing it on film. And so the stage, to make it seem like she was using mental powers, she used her arms. Door shut, door shut, door shut. I mean, what else can you do? They had the sound effects, but you didn't see anything.
Right.
And so, you couldn't have water.
But you
It's a
can use
stage.
lighting to an
There were
extent.
flashes. There was some
Yeah.
flashes of lightning, people trying to escape. And so that part, it was hard to make work
Hmm.
with the technology that we have now. It might do a better job on Broadway if they tried to do it again. I really did feel for Carrie and having to pull that tissue out. One thing that got to me, and I can relate, when she goes home, goes to see her mother, and is going for comfort. You were right. You were right. The mother is holding her and comforting her and stabs her. It is the
Mm.
slowest stab, and she sings some more. And I thought, okay, that was really strange because when I did Oliver and our
Hmm.
director had Bill stab me to death,
Yeah. I can't wait to
you
talk about that in
remember,
another episode.
but you remember, I said, please video this for me. I have to see if this is looking right. And you did. And when we watched, I went, that stab is too slow because he
Hmm.
went really slow. But in
Hmm.
reality, you don't stab someone, you stab them. And so I think that was lacking in this. You couldn't just go, it needed, it needed,
The sound effects.
it needed more. No. So it was just weird. Mom's in a slip and she casually stabs her daughter.
Hmm.
So but then Carrie kills her mom and Sue shows up.
How does Carrie kill her mom?
You know what? It must not have meant much to me because I didn't even write it down. It was like the heart thing. I
The
think
heart?
it was
Yeah.
the
Okay.
telekinesis. She made her heart stop and mom goes down. Yeah. And then all
But
I
then
wrote
Sue
was
shows up.
yes, and I didn't write what happened. That's crazy. I think they were both dead though. Carrie and mom, they both died. There was a quote in this show. What does it cost to be kind?
Hmm.
What does it cost? It costs nothing. Be kind. Be kind, people.
So I have listened to the soundtrack, and honestly, there are some songs I really enjoy, and I love the opening. It so reminds me of Heathers, the musical, clearly. I love the opening song. I think it's called In, but just all the harmonies. Oh, I think it's a great way to pull audience members in with a number like that. But honestly, I I got really tired of listening to Margaret sing. It's saying something that I got tired of that because Marin Mazzie was playing the mom. I listened to the off Broadway revival cast recording, and Marin
That's right.
Mazzie
You
was
told me
Margaret.
that. Yeah.
And she has such a gorgeous voice. But I just got really sick of listening to Margaret's songs and going on and on with all her religiosity and insane theology. Otherwise, like I liked a lot of the music. Unless one day I'm old enough to play Margaret, I think that's the only character I'd want to play. If you had the option to play anybody, who would you want to play?
I think Margaret would be quite challenging. She is a challenging role. The gym
Mm-hmm.
teacher had a really good song. I didn't know the names of the songs, so it was kind of hard. But the gym teacher had a Very nice song, and she had a very good voice too. I don't know if I would want the gym teacher or if I would want to be,
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know. That's a hard one. I don't particularly want to do the show.
I would have fun directing this one, I think. And I'd want to play the mom maybe one day. However, I don't think I could sing it. I don't think I could sing the part.
It is
So,
tough. There's some
uh,
hard music for her. And it's crazy because she's got the soprano, but she's going down into
hmm
the depths. Huge
yeah,
range. Betty Buckley,
yeah.
yes, huge
Yeah,
range.
Betty Buckley, Marin Mazzie, Alice Ripley, these incredible Broadway singers. No thanks. I'll just leave it for them. They can have that part. So of the movie that you saw, the 70s movie, the book, and the stage version, what do you prefer of the three? Which one was your favorite?
I'm going to go with the 70s movie because I think it's just this will just sound dumb. I love John Travolta and I love him in it, and I didn't like that character in the book at all.
You're not supposed to.
Billy in the book, well, I didn't like him in the movie either, but Billy in the book, he's pure evil. That is one
Yes, he
evil boy.
is. He is. And that's what's interesting is we get to see what real evil looks like, and yet he's not the one who massacres the whole town.
I enjoyed the layout of the book. I really enjoyed
Hmm.
how it read. I thought Stephen King did a great job writing it. I thought that was really good. What did you like better?
You know, I really liked the 2013 movie, and I think that's going to be unpopular, but some of the performances are just so good. I mean, Tommy's great. Julianne, amazing. Judy, amazing. I love Chloe. I think Chloe did an amazing job as Carrie. I wish I could pick and choose different actors and put my own version of the movie together from each of these versions because honestly, when it comes to the prom scene,
You can't beat
Sissy
Sissy.
Spacek. Yeah. And honestly, her Carrie is my favorite Carrie of all of them.
I love her. And I think that's why the movie stands out. One, Billy isn't as evil, but Carrie. That gym scene will never leave you. I mean, you see her
Hmm.
eyes. I mean, you can just see those eyes. And I love that. She did an amazing job. Amazing job.
Yeah, yeah. And the 2013 one, it's so different as far as how they do the gym scene. And Chloe does a great job with how she's directed and what she's given. But I just think there's something so haunting about watching Sissy Spacek just slowly descend the stairs and walk calmly out of the building while all the terror is happening around her. Yeah, I don't know, it just sticks with you in a different way.
She didn't try to destroy the town. She was just walking home.
Yeah.
That's it. But that's in the book that she destroys the town. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And maybe she did destroy the town, we just didn't see it. Yeah, I don't know. I just the way they opened the movie for 2013 was brilliant. Brilliant. Julianne Moore and Judy Greer just absolutely elevated that movie for me. But I can't forget Sissy Spacek as Carrie. She was Carrie. That's what's interesting. You've got like Patricia Clarkson, right? Who I think is an amazing actress who plays Margaret so understated that compared to Piper Laurie from 1970s who has this iconic way of playing the character that's so memorable for so many people, I can understand wanting to be different, but there's wanting to make the part your own and play it differently, and then there's just being forgettable. And
yeah.
honestly, I think her performance was not memorable at all. And then you can face an iconic role. It's hard to do, but you can make it your own and you can make it just as memorable. Like Johnny Depp playing Willy Wonka after Gene Wilder made it iconic.
Yeah. He
So he
succeeded.
plays it so differently, but he is his own version of wacky off the wall Willy. But he's so
But
different
that'll be
and
a whole
iconic
other
in his own right too.
that's a whole other
That's an example of what I think of making a character your own, but you're not letting people forget you. And you're also not trying to top the one that people loved. It would be hard to top Piper Laurie, which is what you don't want to do. You want to make it your own. And Julianne Moore
it's hard.
just
I think
handed her award.
it's hard to play unhinged. This was a good one.
Well, this has been fun. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for watching. If you're here watching us on YouTube, please remember to leave us a comment, give us a review, like us on YouTube, hit the notification bell. Please subscribe to our channel. You can find us on Instagram at watching_books. What book do you want to watch that's also been on stage and has been a film adaptation of some sort or screen adaptation? Let us know. And also let us know if you are familiar with Carrie, if you've read it, if you've seen it, if you've gotten to see it on stage, if you've gotten to be in it on stage. Tell us about your
Did you?
experience. Tell us what you liked the most.
Did you get to see it in one of those 4 days that it was on Broadway? I would
If
love
you
to
saw it
know.
on Broadway, let us know. We need to know. We have questions.
Yes.
All right. Well, Mom, I love you.
Love you too. Keep watching books.
We'll see you later when we watch books.